had to think about it. I thought about it, and I thought of Dustin and the Wiskolskis. I thought about all the employees I'd hated over the years because I thought they were idiots who never learned because they made the same lazy, stupid mistakes over and over and over. Because they never listened to me. I thought about how my difficult approach to every guest was to smile at them but secretly hate them until they convinced me otherwise. The Skolskis were indeed assholes, but had my mentally, which led Kode to them, led to the dissolution of their marriage and possibly jail time. I didn't know I was thinking straight, but then suddenly I even hated myself. See, you know, don't you? Said Kode. I argued, for you, but I'm not the one who decides. Then what happens now? I said. Well, here comes the part I'm not even gonna like. We have to sacrifice you. My lungs swelled up with air. I noticed something gleam in Kode's hand, the Modelo knife. I turned and ran barefoot through the sand. The people on the other bonfire were too far away. I knew my best chance was to run to the bridge over the street and somehow make it over to the resort. I was much lighter and faster than Kode, and I quickly took a lead on him. I didn't know where Betos was. Running across the expanse of sand was difficult in my drunken state. Getting to the bridge took a ton out of me. I made it to the curved step, but I couldn't feel my temperature rising and my stomach about to leave my body. Keeping up straight and scaling the steps was impossible. I bent over and crawled up. That gave Kode time to catch up. When I was near the top of the steps, he grabbed my ankle. I kicked at him, and in realization, he stabbed me in my calf with the Modelo knife. I screamed and pulled away from him. I prayed someone at the resort had heard me. I traveled the last steps and tried to assemble across the bridge, doubling over and holding my gut with the knife still in my calf. I fell over and pulled the knife out, then stood up and tried again to run. I made it barely 3 slides. I sunk to my knees and vomited the alcohol all over the pathway in a purrid, yellowish mess. I tried to get up, but nearly threw up again. Allowing Kode to catch up, he practically bowled right over me, knocking us both down. I stood up, and he stood up, and then he threw up too. Straight liquor and large into the same puddle as mine. His big, overweight body swelled profusely and struggled to ventilate itself. I crawled past him, and then Betos descended from above and blocked my path. I could see the demon again now. It was hideous, terrifying, and appalling, yet I couldn't look away. Is there any other way? I asked it directly, crying now. I saw Betos' floating eyes aim at Kode, but he was a mess, plopping up against the railing, wheezing for air, vomit leaking through his goatee. Then Bartos looked down at me and spoke. One may offer a substitute for a tribute. Its voice was alien, utter, unnatural, and almost too deep to understand. What do you mean? I asked. Can a culpable substitute be provided? I tried to think, then hit me. Do you mean a bad person who doesn't know it? Clarity. What if I take you to someone worse than me who thinks everything they do is good and for the right reasons? Proceed. I left Kode on the bridge and I slimmed through the resort, almost trailing blood from my calf, and I couldn't see Barbatos alongside me. But I knew it was there. I went past the first wing on the second floor. I took the elevator up to the fourth floor. Bartos appeared behind me once I reached the double doors to the presidential suite, 4,380. With Bartos there, the doors opened by themselves. The demon horns scaled the suite-valued ceilings. The bedroom door opened, and we saw Amisha, still in the chair and hooked to the IV drip. Bartos was beside her in a blink. It removed her headphones and chucked her jaw. Then she opened her eyes and gasped in shock and alarm. I watched Bartos run its hand over along her shivered body. Intuition, what it needed to about her through her contacts, just as it had with me. Bartos faced me. The substitute tribute is acceptable. With a flick of the wrist, from 10 feet away, Bartos sent me flying out the bedroom. The door slammed, confining Amisha alone with it inside. I drank water from the sink and let myself slide down the wall floor, and I sat and cried. For how long? I don't know. But I eventually stood up, walked myself to the parking garage, got in my car, and drove home. I sent the letter of resigning to my GM the very next day. I still haven't returned to the hospitality industry. I probably never will. I now live in another state in a cheap audio apartment, sitting inside alone and writing out the last of my savings account. I don't have a job, and I don't know where to start looking. I don't know how to go about answering questions about my strengths and weaknesses, or how I might be a team player and a leader to my colleagues. I don't know much about myself now. Things I wish I had never learned. My hope is now that by writing this, I may bring myself a certain small amount of closure so that I can hopefully someday soon start anew.